I am Creative Stitching Diva, that Graphghan queen, and I am here to help you with all of your Graphghan needs. I want to make sure you are doing the right thing with a Graphghan. Okay. Now, now that I got my lips popping, let's find out how to make your Graphghan mirror. You want to be sure that your Graphghan looks good on this side and this side, your front and your back. Your front and your back should always be the same just about, because especially if you're making a blanket, scarf, or something that you need both sides, you want to make sure that everything is good, right? So that's what I am going to help you with today. The best thing you need to know is to find out how your front and your back is, to make sure that you know what is your front and what is your back. And it's a good trick that I always use, and that is whatever you start off with, which is going to be row 1. I'm pretty sure you start off with row 1. So if you start off with row 1, row 1 is odd, right? So that's an odd number. If you start off with row 2, that's an even number. So whatever row you start with, you just keep that in mind, because that is how you're going to decipher what is the side of the right side and the side of the back side. So whatever side you start off with, that is going to be the right side, right? So when you started off with that number 1, it's your odd, right? So because it's odd, that is your beginning. So each odd number will be your right side, and each even number will be the back side. So always keep that in mind. Whatever you start off with, that is your right side, and it starts to alternate from there. So it's very important that you know what your right side is and what your back side is. And that's a little trick that I learned. Now, there's a technique that I also use so that your stitches are just as good on the back side that they are on the right side. And that is something I'm going to use this little tight swatch just to show you how we're going to get this going, right? Just this little swatch, you could tell that both sides look good, right? Both sides look good. Both sides look good. That's, yeah. So let's figure out how to do that. And the first thing I'm going to do, let me switch the camera. Dandy hook, right? So as you can see, I have 3 hanging strings. The 3 hanging string, as you can see, are the back side, the middle, where I have the square, and then this is the other side. So to get the effect of this, I need to make sure that I have all bases covered. So you want to make sure you have your hanging string from here, here, and here. So that's where you use bobbins. If you're going to use bobbins, you could have the 3 strings of bobbins. If you're going to use baggies, whatever you use, that's fine and dandy. I'm not going over how to untangle your string on this one. I'll do that on another one. But that's basically how I have it. I like to just let everything hang. I literally do. I just let it hang. So, or I'll just use it coming from here. I'll just take the skein and just have it coming from the skein. It doesn't matter as long as you get the gist of what I'm trying to do. So now, let me see. Let me get this right. Now that we have our handy dandy swatch, I'm going to show you how I begin my swatch. So what I'll do is I'm going to do 12. Okay, so what I want to do is take this and start off with 12 slip stitch, 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then 1 chain, turn it around, and I'm doing half double because that's my go-to stitch. It doesn't matter what stitch you're using. You can still use this, you know, do everything the same if you're using single crochet, but this is my go-to stitch. So okay, and then once I finish and I get to the end, I always try to take my tail because I try to minimize as much work as possible. So I take my tail and I wrap it around and pull it through. Go back in here, chain 1 and turn. And that's basically how I start off, like that. So now I'm going to do 1 and 2 and then stop. 1, 2, stop. Once I get to, let me see, let me try this. 1, 2, stop, and then I will add my main color for the middle. Once I add the main color, one, two, I think I'm going to need what, 8. I think I'm gonna need 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Yep, 8. So once I get to the last one, I'm going to stop. And then next, I'm gonna add my next color, which is the other background color. So the reason why we do this is so that you do not, I call it cross contamination, or you do not have to carry any of this yarn, because you want your front to look like your back. So changing the yarn is best. So I'm going to add it, put it on the hook, and go through all 3. And this is not my pop, lock, and drop. But as I'm doing this, all of my strings are going towards the back as I'm doing this. So as I added my colors, I made sure all strings were to the back. As you can see, all strings to the back. And as I went through, I was just weaving in a little bit of the hanging strings. So now I am going to crochet as I'm going. Being that I have still a long hanging string, I am definitely crocheting over it each time I go over that. So now I'm going to go to the next one, and this is not pop, lock, and drop though. This is not pop, lock, and drop. I'm not using pop, lock, and drop right now because some people was confused, but I'll use it in the next row. Okay, so I'm just HDC all the way till I get to the last one, and then stop. drop it in the front. Why? Because this is time to drop it. This is my back of my work. So I have to make sure all strings are going towards the back. And then I'm going to pick up this tail right here, put it over my hook, and continue as I'm crocheting over. Crochet over. Okay. And that's how I will complete that one. Now I'm going to turn it over. Turn it over, and now do the same thing, but this time I'm going to use this row as my pop, lock, and drop. So go in, put over that tail on top of the hook, yarn over, pull through one, yarn over, pull through all, and do the same exact thing, yarn over, pull through one, and then drop. Pick up the main color. Now I'm going to push that out the way, push this tail out the way, and I'll finish that when I go back around. Pull through all three, and now it's time to yarn over, pull up a one loop, yarn over, pull through one, yarn over, pull through all three, and then that's when I will turn it over and pull down on it a little bit, just to, you know, seal the deal, lock it in, and then keep on going. Yarn over, pull through one, yarn over, pull through all. And I would only do it when I do the color change, but since this is such a small area, and say if you have a lot of color changes in between, I might just do this method throughout the whole entire thing. So if you had like a large blanket with a lot of color changing, I would just use this whole method, which is basically you're using extended single crochet. Extended single crochet to me allows this color change to go through smooth. For some that have problems, doing color changing, and then they realize that their color changing doesn't look smooth, doing this extra step, which is the extended single crochet, helps them a little bit. So there we go. That's the next row, and then you just keep on going until you get to the top, and that's how you mirror the back, by keeping the strings towards the back. When you turn around, you're still keeping your strings towards the back. You're not putting any strings towards the front at all. You're not carrying any strings at all. And this will keep the front and the back as clear as possible. Now, the back will have something like this. It's like this right here. And this is why I try to do it as neat as possible. But that's the only difference that your front and back will have. This does not have it, but the back do. And that's because when you are changing colors and going to the next row, it pulls the string. That you can actually minimize it by doing this. I'm going to show you how you minimize that. You go in, yarn over, pull through. Well, I'm just going to do regular color changing. Put it down, pick up your main color, right? So as I'm doing that, you see, this is where the string starts to pull from this row up to the next row. What I'm going to do is yarn over and go through that. When you go through it, go through your next stitch as well. So basically you're trying to hide that stitch. You're trying to hide it. So you're going through it so you can hide it. I actually don't mind it being in the back. It actually helps me understand which one is the back, which one is the front as well. And it doesn't look bad to me, but everybody has preference. So if that's something that you feel you do not want at all, that's something that you can do. Hide it. Just go underneath right here, go into your next stitch, and boom. And I will do it again, maybe for like 2 stitches. And you're basically hiding it. I honestly don't like that, but it's up to you. It's up to you. It actually looks like a part of the stitch, but yeah, it looks like a part of the stitch. But it's up to you if you want to do it like that or not. I like my little swoop in the back. I have no problem with my swoop in the back. And then you just keep on going until you complete your project, and making sure that each row you know what's your front and what's your back, and making sure that as I go, I also like kind of like pull on the strings a little bit, but I don't tug on them because I don't like it. I don't like my strings to tangle either. So pulling on it is only going to make, if it's a knot, it's going to make it tight. So I just let it go and let it flow. And the more I let it go and let it flow and let it hang, there it doesn't tangle. As you see, it's just flowing. See, it's just flowing. And I don't pull, I don't do none of that. And it looks good. It looks good. So let me finish this off so I can show you how I will finish it. Before I finish, check this out. Hold on, sunshines. You need a logo, website, and business branding ideas? Check out Lightwork Designs, one-stop shop for all your branding needs. Link in the description below. Just say the Diva sent you. Okay, so now that I got it to the amount of rows that I needed, I'm going to show you how to finish it off. So we're going to crochet the top, and we're going to put the middle color on top of the hook and crochet on top of that, and keep going. Now if you have something with multiple colors, I would do this, but I will only go over the colors that this part is on. So say if this was pink and then there was yellow in between and pink here, I would go over just the pink, and then I would take the yellow and go over just the yellow, stop, and then go over the pink again. Understand? It would be pink, stop, go over the yellow, stop, drop it, and go over the pink again, and then stop. That's what I would do. And then if I felt like it was like one stitch, I would go over that one stitch, but then I will also weave it in with a tapestry needle as well, because I'm going to say like about 2 or maybe even 3 stitches, I will use the tapestry needle. But other than that, if it's more than that, I will just go over like what I'm doing now. And as you can see, here we go. So I just crocheted over that one as well. And then I'm going to cut. So where I'm at now, I'm going to cut here and go over one more time. And I'm going to weave in the tail of what I just cut from the other part of the border. And I'm also taking my finger as I'm going to crochet over the top. And as you can see, this is kind of something that I do to push it out the way without having to move it. I will go over it, put it on top like that, crochet over it, and then push it to the back with my hook. I'm gonna do it one more time. Crochet over it like that. And then once I go in, when it's time to go to the next one, I'm going to push it out the way with my hook. That way I don't have to worry about it being stuck in here on the front. It'll be pushed to the back. All right, so I'm going to finish to the end and I will show you what I do after that. Cut. And now you can either I will take my hook and I will go in between, which is in between the 2 stitches at the end, and pull through, right? And then I'll do a slip stitch, pull through that. And that's how I will end it. Then I will take either a tapestry needle, but 9 times out of 10, I will take another hook and go through from the back. Go through from the back. Once I pull it through the back, then I will go to the sides and start pulling it down from the sides so that it is going down the sides of my work. Or you could have it going in between your stitches here, as if you crocheted it, as if you weaved it in as you crochet. You could have it going through here, but I like to do it during on the sides because when your recipient washes it, it's least likely to come out like fridges, the ends, when I do it horizontal. Not horizontal, vertically versus horizontal. So once I'm finished with that, you have these hanging strings, right? So now you take your snips. You always should have handy dandy snips. And this actually, to me, works better than scissors, because when I snip it, I want to snip it right there at the end. But to be honest, I'm doing this because of we're doing this on here as a video, but I will wash and I will air dry and block before I even do this, because washing, blocking, and doing all of that will set your yarn in, and it will dry like that. And then once it dries like that, then you just snip off the excess strings, and you are good to go. And then I will pull it out and you're good to go. And then you have your finished product, and boom, booyah, yes. Your front looks like your back. Your back look like your front, and you're good to go. Yes, 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 yes. Your front look like your back. All right. So with that being said, sunshines, you have your front and your back looking the same. Your front and your back looking the same. So for all of your Graphghan needs, hit me up if you need me to go over something, if you have a problem, if you need me to explain something in video format, let me know. Hit me up in the comments below, or you can definitely email me at creativestitchingdiva@gmail.com, and everything is in the description below. Or if you want a graph and you want some good like juicy grass that's gonna pop and make it stand, go to creativestitchingdiva.com, which is in the description below. And if you want to learn on a more personal basis with my small member squad, my Diva squad, you can hit join, which is right next to the subscribe button. Hit join. I have 3 tiers, and those 3 tiers are one for graphing, one for crocheting. So please give me thumbs up if this helped you in your Graphghan journey, if it gave you some insight on how to make your Graphghan look good front and back. Give me thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not a subscriber, and please come back for the next video that I will show you how to do the best Graphghan ever. Bye, sunshine.